Hello and welcome to MaliPOS guide. So to access MaliPOS, you can just open any browser. It can be Mozilla, it can be Chrome. So right now I'm in Chrome browser and I'm going to type on the search bar malipos.co.ke. So this should direct me to our website homepage. So you can see we can be able to see everything about MaliPOS from this homepage. So to access the dashboard, I'll need to click on login and enter the login details. So make sure you enter the correct password. So we've been redirected to the dashboard, and in the dashboard you can see quick information: the sales of this month, the total sales amount, the purchase of this month. So it's like you can be able to see a summary of events from the dashboard. So this video will cover the three most basic parts, that is adding products or product management, then stock, where we will be adding our stock, that is the purchases, and lastly the sales, that is the POS workflow. So let's begin. Let's say you've already set up your MaliPOS dashboard and you need to add products to the system. So you'll just come here to products, but before you add these products, as you can see, we already have some products added. So before you add products, make sure that you have categories included. So right now we have phone and tablet and also appliances. So if you just click on this button right here, it should allow you to add another category. So we can add another category, let's say furniture. So that's another category we've included. Make sure that you've also included the brands. So as of now, these are the brands that we have. If you need to create another one, just click on the plus and you will be able to add another brand. You should also ensure that you add the tax information. So right now we've added that the tax is inclusive, meaning we've set our rate to 0%. So you can include any tax here. It can be VAT, it can be TOT. Then lastly, you should include the units. So the products units that will be used, either if it is liters, if it is pieces. So the same, you can click on the plus button to add more units. So once you've added that, just proceed to now adding the products. So you can click on the products on the sidebar, then click on the plus icon. This plus icon should allow you to add a product. So this is where you will input the product name. So let's have a product right here. We can include POS machine. Then we can include a description of our product. Then we can choose category. So I'm just going to choose let's say phones and tablets. So I'm just choosing something that is a bit relevant. Then you can include the tax, the unit. So currently we have pieces. Then of course this is a feature that we will be adding later on. So this is not yet added. So this feature, once it's added, should allow decimal quantities in our POS. Then we should enter the purchase price. So let's say the purchase price is 30,000 and we are selling it at 4,000. 40,000. So we can include the barcode of the product, I mean the QR code of the product. So once you've added the information required, you can now click on create. So this should add the products in the system. So right now, if you check, we have 0 quantity in the products. So we will need to add stock. So when we need to add stock, we'll go to purchases now, because it simply means you are purchasing from a vendor. So that's why we've labeled this as purchase. So if we need to add a stock, we'll click here, add purchase. So for the cash register and branch, you can set them right here on setting. Then you can click on branch and you can add another branch. So meaning this can support different branches. So let's say you have like 2 branches for your shop, so you can add another branch right here. So if we need to add a branch, you just click the plus sign, then you can add another branch. The same with the cash register, you just need to click on cash register, then you can add another cash register right here. Maybe you can assign different staff different cash register, so it can be easier to follow up who made which cells. So let's go back to the purchases. So we are on add purchase. So you will need to select the branch and the cash register. So just come here, we'll select the branch and the cash register. Then we'll select the product that we want to add, or the product whose stock has arrived. So if you don't see the product right here, you can come here and search the product. So I'm going to search POS machine. So you keep typing until your product appears. So once your product appears, just click on it. So if you click on it, it should be listed right here. So let's say we've received like 5 POS machine. So we can remove this. So let's assume we've also received an Elite book, that's a laptop. Let's say we've received 2 pieces of this. So you can come here and include 2 pieces, or quantity to be 2. Then once we have entered all the stock, we can click pay, then say done. So we can view the purchases right here. That is, if you want to view the stock that is recently added, you just come to purchases, then the first on top is the immediate or the recently added stock. So if we click this, we should be able to view the stock that we've just added. And also if we move to the left, we should be able to see some different action button. So you can download this and share it. You can copy the link. You can edit if you want to edit. Let's say maybe you didn't receive 5 laptops, or you didn't receive 2 laptops but you received 1. So you can edit it as 1, then you save the change. So this should reflect on the stock that only one laptop was received. Or let's say if you returned the products, you can just delete the whole stock. So that's how you manage stock using MaliPOS. So let's say you've already added stock to your system. Now you've received a client and you need to make a sale. So all sales are done under this layer, sales. Then you can click on add sale. So right here is where you'll find the POS workflow. So the same as purchasing, you should ensure that you select the branch and the cash register. Then let's say we've received a client that needs the POS machine. So as you can see, we have the quantity here as 5. So if we select and we sell like 2, the quantity should read as 3. So let's sell 2 POS machine. So if you want to delete this from cart, you can just as well click on this delete icon. Then once you've confirmed all the products you've listed here for selling, you now click on pay. This should allow you to confirm, of course, if you've received the payment in cash or M-Pesa. So the M-Pesa, it's only enabled in some subscription plans. So if you are on cash, then let's say you've received 100,000 from the client, and the client is supposed to pay 80,000. You should be able to see the change that you are required to pay back to the client. So let's say the client has given 100,000, so meaning the change is 20,000. It's rated right here. So if the client pays 80,000 flat, then the change is 0. So you can now click complete and print. This should allow you to print the receipt. So if you want to print the receipt, you just click on print. But if you don't want to print, you can as well click on X to take you back to the POS workflow. So if we go to products, we'll be able to see that the POS machine quantity is now 3. So basically that's how you manage stock using MaliPOS, and that's how you also make sales using our POS. Hope that was clear enough, and wishing you luck using our POS. Thank you.